You are listening to the Law Enforcement Pirate Radio Network. Radio Free Larry presiding.
You can run, but you can't hide.
Radio Free Larry.
All right, here we go again. So, our response is appropriate and minimally so. Of course, I've outlined a way that I would do it, and it's very difficult to do it the way I would want it done because we don't have that offshore facility base that we have, obviously, onshore. So, it's 6 to 1, half dozen to the other. It would be better to set up a place on some remote island somewhere and, bring them through there as they come to the United States. And then everything would be much cleaner because of the aircraft they would use traveling to the United States would not be the aircraft that were based or at least temporarily based in China, landing there for a period of time and then bringing them into the United States. So as I've said, it's proven not to be as deadly as the other one, SARS or whatever it was, and the Middle Eastern one. However, it is much more contagious, which is a concern. Because once it moves out into the community, it can always mutate and become something else. So that is a big concern. So when we think of how it moves, what its characteristics are now, it doesn't mean that if it got a foothold in the United States that it wouldn't change somehow and possibly become twice as deadly as it is now. So again, what we're dealing with and why we're being criticized by China and we're not in line with the World Health Organization and whatever the others want to point out is because we're not communists. We're not communists. We don't sacrifice 10% of our population so that we can be rich. Now, there are people here that are communists and socialists, and there are capitalists that are socialists and communists, and conservatives that are socialists and communists, and they sacrifice members of our community for the greater riches of their small communist selves. And that happens quite frequently. However, President Trump attempts to remember that not everybody is him. And that's one of the things that he does and that angers the socialists and communists that are destroying this nation and have destroyed this nation, quite frankly. As I told you, nothing is left. If you have $100,000 in the bank, you're probably okay. The deep state would look at your finances, and if it could ruin you, it would. But if it looked at your finances and looked at your family and figured that they couldn't move people against you, they would probably step away because it's just too much for them. What they saw in my life is not a single person around me was worth a damn. Each one of them was manipulatable into a criminal activity that is murder one in reality. They knew they could do that. They knew I didn't have money, and they knew they could keep me for money. So they did it. It's that simple. It's that psychotic. It's that heinous. It's that genocidal. They will pick somebody and they will just do it. They will use CIA, Kroll, private sector intelligence, foreign intelligence to alter U.S. citizens into a lifestyle or form of a lifestyle or an appearance of a lifestyle that they can use against them. But yet, the real people engaged in criminal activity are in cahoots because Kroll is criminal. Kroll is criminal. You just have to figure out that Weinstein and Kroll are deep state, and we're doing the deep state shuffle against the victims of Weinstein. But yet, those same people are the same people that come against my life. But they're out there in government contract world while everybody chases after the victims of the deep state and acts like they found the only corruption or the biggest corruption in campaign finance in Lev Parnas, I guess his name is, when that was a deep state shadow government criminal enterprise spycraft theater setup from day one. Remember, their desire is to control every investigation in the United States, so their community is safe and immune from investigation. That's it. That's the highest level of operation within the Pelosi House, within the Wray FBI, within the Haspel CIA, within all those federal agents and agencies that are deep state, as well as the state and local ones. Is to cover their tracks and their crimes and attempt to use those crimes that they commit against other people. You've got cold cases out there that were committed by the deep state, and they use it against innocent U.S. citizens. They say, well, you look like you're the one that committed it. And the deep state committed it around the person so they could use it against them, taking sometimes two birds out with one stone. It's that simple. So again, the coronavirus response is appropriate, but minimalist. I mean, we don't need people here on our soil that are infected. It's that simple. It's not, oh, you stubbed your toenail and we have to take care of it. It's not that. I mean, that's where you all want to put it. We have people here that have a right not to be infected with that disease. It's that simple. The government has no right to put U.S. citizens at risk. Oh my God, I said it. The FBI is going to roll over in its grave because it is dying. If you haven't figured it out, the FBI is dying and dead. The only thing they are now is a criminal enterprise desirous of the end of the United States and the increase of their criminal communist New World Order. The Order of the Ages is not the New World Order. So what does that tell you? The New World Order was put in place to overthrow the Order of the Ages, which is what our nation was founded upon, the Order of the Ages. And that's biblical. So again, to go out and orchestrate arrests to make it look good so you can go out and operate Gestapo operations of psychological genocide is the most heinous thing that has ever occurred in this nation. Secret Nazis, secret psychological experiments against U.S. citizens every day of the week. Every day of the week. Every hour of the day that they can. There's nothing left. It's an illusion. If I don't investigate missing persons cases, I will see an increase in homicide cases. A decrease in homicide cases. If I don't investigate missing person cases and run off doing deep state activity and play games with those missing persons cases or those homicide cases or whatever they are, because most missing persons cases are homicide cases, are dead people. I will see that the world is becoming safer, and I will put my figures out there. We have made you safer once again. What are you listening to President Trump for? The FBI is the greatest thing on earth. Look what we're doing. And then we can also go to the narcotics deaths. We have the largest number of criminal-related deaths, homicides in the United States that there's ever been here. This is the most unsafe time in the history of this nation, and your FBI, your CIA, your state police, your local police brought it to you, along with their cronies in the CIA, because they're busy. They're busy with deep state activity. They have no idea how to control themselves or to control those agencies from recruiting additional law enforcement officers into assassinating their fellow officers because their fellow officers will not be corrupt. Suicides are not happening like they were happening last year because I told you it's the FBI. I told you it's the CIA. I told you it was Kroll. I told you it was your local police. That's why, no other reason, are law enforcement officers mentally sound today and not killing themselves. No other reason. Quit lying to yourselves. It's that simple. It's that simple. Not hard to figure out. It happened before. About a decade ago. Going back, federal officers killing themselves everywhere. Oh, they're all criminals. They're all criminals. Ah! We had a case. We had a case. Ah! And all of a sudden it stopped. Why? Because I said something. For years on end. I wouldn't stop. To save myself. Because that's not who I am. I don't sit here today and play a game with a community that has no understanding of who you are and where you're going. God is not mocked. You will continually reap what you sow. In hell on earth and in hell. So our response is minimally appropriate. I would have, quite honestly, cut off all entrance into the United States for 2 weeks. They have to be quarantined somewhere for 2 weeks. You know, something like a Gitmo, but a housing facility. I don't know if we have those. I wouldn't want to like dump it on Guam or something. You couldn't do that. So it'd have to be something like Diego Garcia. I don't know if we have a place like that. We can't use Diego Garcia because it's not set up for that, I don't believe. But that's what we need. A place where they can all just have a mess hall and everything and kind of hang out until they have cleared for 2 weeks. And then we schedule them a flight and then we fly them to stateside. That's simple. Who is the United Nations type? You know, you're expendable. If we can control it at this point, we're doing well. And, you know, this is just the way Earth is. You know, you just die. I mean, they're all maniacs. The people that are running the world are maniacs. Psychotic, communist maniacs that approve of psychological murder, that approve of assassination of life, liberty, and happiness. That's what's running this nation. It doesn't matter what President Trump says. They're laughing at him because they'll send Pelosi and Nadler and Schumer at him. Ah, we're going to bind you up. We're going to bind your mind. We're going to blind your mind. We're going to destroy their time in office because we want to kill U.S. citizens to maintain our secrecy of the witches' covens, of Rosemary's babies being born every day in federal, state, and local government. They told you they would appear as ministers of light, and they make sure you see them that way. They're going to investigate enough cases and save enough people that you let them kill everyone else. Nazism, communism, Satanism. Now, there are officers out there that are not involved, but they're at risk of dying if I don't speak out. They're at risk of being killed. They'll even tell doctors not to treat them. The doctors will be so afraid they won't treat them. Now, is it every doctor? No. Is it a good portion? Quite probably. We're talking about CIA attacking their life, liberty, their happiness, their family, drugging them, or some semblance of CIA, private sector, foreign agents killing U.S. citizens with the knowledge of FBI and CIA. They know it. They don't care. They're shit and trash. That's what we call them. And that's where they're going. Into the toilet and into the garbage heap. It's over. Repent. And you might be saved. You're that far gone. You are the proprietors of reprobate mind. Physically, spiritually, and psychological warfare-wise. Well, praise God in all that you do. No violence, stay peaceful. It's pretty hard to understand the truth and understand who's been in your government for the last 20, 30, 40 years. Praise God.
You are listening to the Law Enforcement Pirate Radio Network. Radio Free Larry presiding.
You can run, but you can't hide.
Radio Free